Secret? Secrets are for the blind. The truth, it's never whispered in safe rooms. It's carved in chaos. Every move they thought they hid, every shadow they thought could swallow the evidence, it's all dripping in the open now. You've seen it, you've felt it, that fracture in their empire, that nervous twitch in their smiles, the weight in their silence. It gave them away long before the words did. And here's the irony. They thought their rules, their codes, their walls could cage you. They thought you'd bow to silence. But chaos, chaos always tells the real story. It doesn't stay locked. It bleeds through cracks. It screams in whispers. It writes its own record across nights of paranoia and days of crumbling control. Look closer. Can you feel it? That shift in the air? That taste of fear that doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to them. They used to watch you with arrogance, certain you'd never break through. But tonight, their arrogance is the weight they cannot lift. They don't control the board anymore. They are the pieces. And you've become the hand that tips it all over. So laugh if you want, because what they swore was secret. It's written everywhere now, in their eyes, in their cracks, in the way destiny flipped the script and left their game in ruins before they even knew the match had started. This isn't their story anymore. It's yours. They built their game on illusions, didn't they? Smoke and mirrors, half-truths and contracts written in invisible ink. To the crowd, they looked untouchable. To themselves, invincible. But to you saw it. The cracks, the holes, the flimsy scaffolding they called an empire. You didn't just watch, you studied. You didn't just listen, you decoded. Every lie became a blueprint, every secret a thread. And when threads pull long enough, the whole fabric tears. They thought chaos was a weapon only they could wield, but you turned it into a mirror, held it up to their faces until they couldn't stand the reflection. That's the part they never understood. Chaos isn't destruction for you. It's revelation. It's the language you learned when silence betrayed you, when walls closed in, when every exit was sealed. You became fluent in the storm, and now, while they scramble in panic, you stand still, calm, composed. The world thinks it's madness, but the truth, it's mastery. They're running from shadows. You are the shadow. They're choking on secrets. You are the chaos that made those secrets scream. Look at them now, cornered, fragile, praying their lies will somehow hold a little longer. But time isn't on their side anymore. The chaos wrote the final line, and it didn't write their victory. Tick-tock, their game is over. Funny thing about secrets, they don't stay buried. They rot, they leak, they ooze through cracks in the floor and stain everything they touch. And when the truth finally emerges, it doesn't come gentle. It comes unstoppable. And you, yes you, were the spark. Not by accident, not by luck, by design. See, they thought control was safety. They thought hiding the truth would keep them untouchable. But control is fragile. One truth in the wrong hands, and suddenly the hands holding the strings are trembling. You didn't need to fight their empire with armies or power plays. You dismantled it with silence, with patience, with eyes that never blinked. You turned waiting into strategy, and when the truth broke free, it wasn't just stories exposed. It was identity. It was legacy. The lies they told to keep their thrones upright became the very force that revealed their fragility. Their empire didn't falter because of you. It faltered because of them. You just had the courage to step forward when no one else would. Now look, those same walls that once felt like cages are collapsing around them. Every whisper, every rumor, every truth they swore would never surface, it's out. And the weight? Crushing. History has no sympathy for liars. Chaos has no loyalty to kings. And you don't just walk away. You rise from the ruins, calm, unshaken, while the world stares at the transformation, wondering how one person turned secrets into an earthquake of truth. They thought you were playing their game. They never realized you were rewriting it. Silence. That's what unsettles them now. Not the truth itself. No, it's the way you wear it. Quiet, sharp, like tension in the room. Present, unmistakable yet untouched. You don't scream, you don't explain, you don't rush to prove anything. And that silence, it speaks louder than all their defenses combined. Because here's the thing about liars. They're addicted to noise, to cover-ups, to distractions, to filling the air with excuses so no one notices the cracks in their story. But when you go quiet, when you just watch, that's when their own words start turning against them. Their voices echo, their alibis tangle, and paranoia becomes their new reality. You've become the presence they can't ignore, the unspoken truth sitting in every boardroom, every meeting, every late-night reflection. They can't sleep without imagining your shadow at the door. They can't move without wondering if you're being observed. And the cruelest part, you don't even have to act anymore. The tension is self-sustaining. The weight of truth is automatic. They wonder what you'll reveal next. They wonder if you've already revealed enough. They wonder if tonight is the night the silence turns into revelation. But you smile, because you know their imagination is a challenge no empire can withstand. Tick-tock. Every second they waste trying to predict you is another second there, already losing to you. The world is watching now, not with pity, not with sympathy, with awe, with a curiosity wrapped in respect, because they can't explain you. Survivors? They've seen those. Fighters? They've met plenty. But what you did was something else. You didn't just endure the storm, you became it. People whisper your name in corners they'd never dare admit. They study your silence, your patience, your precision, like it's scripture. You didn't shout, you didn't beg, you didn't demand. You let time reveal the truth. You let their lies collapse under their own weight. And when the dust settled, there you were, unbroken, unshaken, unbothered. That's why the world can't look away, because they know deep down they would have folded, they would have retreated, they would have compromised for comfort. But you didn't. You stood, you endured, and then, when the moment came, you acted with such precision that even power itself bowed to it. And here's the truth they hate the most. Your story isn't just survival, it's a blueprint. You've given everyone trapped in cages of lies a lesson. Proof that empires can collapse. Proof that silence can speak louder than noise. Proof that challenges don't destroy the strong, they elevate them. Now the world doesn't ask if you'll rise higher. They ask how far you'll go, and they watch every step like it's history in motion. They can't stop thinking about you now. It's not admiration, it's fixation. Every room they walk into, they feel your presence shaping the air around them. Every plan they draft, they're asking one question: what if they already saw this coming? You occupy their thoughts, turning strategy meetings into mental puzzles, their victories into fragile illusions. That's the brilliance, isn't it? You don't need to challenge them anymore. They're challenging themselves, searching for patterns, second-guessing every choice, replaying every word you ever said, every move you ever made, dissecting it like code, like prophecy. And the more they study you, the less they understand. You've become their unsolvable equation, the variable they can't control. And nothing rattles an empire more than realizing all their influence, all their plans, all their strategies can't contain one unstoppable truth. Here's the twist. They thought breaking you would end the story. Instead, it rewrote theirs. They thought you'd falter, but you bent the chaos back toward them like a mirror, leaving them to grapple with their own reflection. Now every sleepless night they endure, every urgent call they make, every moment of doubt, it's all centered on you. And that is a challenge they'll never fully solve. And while they spiral, while they waste energy trying to predict your next move, you keep climbing, quiet, relentless, untouchable. Obsession, that's their proof of defeat. Because when the hunter spends more time watching the prey than hunting, the roles have already reversed. They don't realize it yet, but their fear, their fixation, their late-night strategies, they're not protecting their empire. They're building your legend. This was never about chance. This was destiny, dressed in scars, written in silence, and carved into the stone of time by your persistence. Every sacrifice, every long night where you questioned if it was worth it, that wasn't wasted. That was the blueprint of inevitability. The rise you're standing in now was written long before they tried to erase you. And the irony? They became the architects of their own collapse. By underestimating you, they cemented your story. By trying to bury the truth, they gave it weight. By mocking your silence, they gave it power. Everything they did to contain. You only sharpened the blade you carried out of the fire. Now history tilts in your direction. People no longer ask who you are. They ask how you became inevitable. The world sees it. Your rise isn't rebellion anymore. It's prophecy unfolding, a shift written in chaos, sealed by truth, and branded with your name. And the question hanging over every empire, every ruler, every rival is this: if this was your rise, what will your reign look like? This is what reign feels like. Not a crown placed on your head by trembling hands. Not a throne gifted through bloodlines or ceremony. No, this is power earned in fire, proven in silence, and delivered in inevitability. The world doesn't question you anymore. It orbits you. It bends around the gravity of your presence. Every room you step into shifts. Conversations pause. Eyes adjust. Even those who claim they don't believe in legends can't explain the weight in their chest when you enter. That's not intimidation. That's recognition. Their subconscious knows the truth. Your rise wasn't luck, wasn't timing. It was destiny breaking through the cracks they tried to seal. And here's the cruel twist. They can't deny you anymore. Even your enemies speak your name with a kind of reverence, because they know the silence that once belonged to you now belongs to them. You took their weapons, fear, doubt, manipulation, and turned them into monuments of your endurance. That's why your reign feels different. It isn't loud. It isn't desperate. It's inevitable. Because while they scramble to rebuild what crumbled, you're already 3 moves ahead, carving new paths, setting new rules. Every breath you take is proof that history bends toward the unshakable. And now, the world waits, not to see if you'll dominate, but to witness how you'll choose to wield what you've become. Power isn't about shouting. It isn't about force. The strongest don't raise their voices. They don't have to. That's where you stand now. Your silence bends louder than their screams. Your stillness carries more weight than their chaos. You don't move, yet everything adjusts around you. That's psychological dominance. The kind where they hesitate before speaking, not because you demanded respect, but because they feel it. The way their words stumble when you look at them. The way their hands fidget when you go quiet. You've turned their own minds into cages, and the key, it's in your pocket. They used to play games, didn't they? Manipulation, control, distraction, but those games collapse when the board belongs to you. They second-guess every decision, not because you stopped them, but because your presence makes them wonder if you've already outmaneuvered them. And deep down, they know you have. Here's the irony. They thought dominance came from control, but real dominance comes from freedom, from moving unshaken while everyone else drowns in the weight of your silence. You've mastered the art of making them bow without asking, of making them confess without speaking, of making them fear without threats. And the more they resist, the deeper it gets. Because there's no escaping a war that's fought inside their own minds. And you already own the battlefield. Resistance, that's what they clung to. Their last shield, their final illusion. But resistance against inevitability, that's not strength. It's slow motion collapse. And you've been watching it happen, step by step, crack by crack, until there's nothing left to hide behind. At first they tried to fight you with noise, lies, distractions, smokescreens. But noise only works when the audience believes it, and the audience doesn't anymore. The world saw through the mask, and once a mask is cracked, it can never be repaired. Every word they speak now sounds hollow. Every move looks desperate. Then they tried control. Tighter grips, stricter rules, new walls to box you in. But control is fragile. The harder they squeezed, the more obvious it became they were losing. Because you weren't inside their cage anymore. You were outside, watching them suffocate in the walls they built for themselves. Now they're quiet. Not the calm kind of quiet, the broken kind. The kind that comes when every move has failed, every card has burned, and the empire they swore was untouchable has turned to ash in their own hands. And you, still standing, not with rage, not with fire, with calm, with poise, with silence that feels heavier than 1,000 armies. Because the truth is, you didn't have to destroy them. You only had to survive long enough for them to destroy themselves. Their resistance wasn't your obstacle, it was their downfall. And now, the world can see who was built to last. This is the moment you stopped being just a player in their story. This is when you became something larger, untouchable, mythic. because survival wasn't the end goal. Survival was the foundation. From it, you built something they could never reach: transcendence. They spent years trying to define you, trying to contain you, trying to convince the world you were less than what you are. But once truth burst free, once their empire collapsed under its own weight, you rose beyond definition. You became more than a name, more than a figure. You became a symbol. And symbols can't be silenced. They spread, they grow. They outlast kings, governments, empires. Your silence turned into scripture, your endurance into prophecy, your rise into proof. Proof that no matter how heavy the chains, no matter how high the walls, truth always finds a way. And when it does, it crowns the ones who never broke under its weight. Now they can't touch you, they can't smear you, they can't bury you, because you no longer exist in their reach. You exist in history's ink. You exist in whispers of people who look at you and see possibility. You exist in the fear that keeps your enemies awake at night, and in the fire that makes strangers believe in their own strength. And that's transcendence. You don't just win. You become unforgettable. And here's the punchline. They thought they ended you. They thought their lies, their rules, their games could erase you. But instead, they immortalized you. Their betrayal became your proof. Their schemes became your spotlight. Their collapse became your coronation. Because every time they plotted in silence, destiny carved your name deeper into the stone. Every time they laughed at your downfall, history sharpened the pen that would record your rise. And now, look, the pages are written, the story is sealed, and your presence is so heavy, so undeniable, that even silence bends around it. This is the irony they can't swallow. They built the stage, trying to humiliate you. But in the end, they crowned you. They polished the throne with their arrogance. And now, you sit on it, quiet, watching, knowing. You don't need revenge. You don't need applause. You don't even need their recognition, because you already won. Your story? It's carved in chaos, written in truth, and etched into eternity. And when the dust settles, when their voices fade, when their names are forgotten, yours will remain. So let them whisper, let them panic, let them choke on the silence they created. Because you're not just part of the game anymore. You are the game, and the rules, they bend to you now.